born in the former Soviet Union, so I'm an immigrant. So I think there's a couple different things that drive me, starting from humble beginnings and gratitude. I would say gratitude drives me. I'm very, very, very grateful and thankful for the natural DNA skills that I was gifted, for the fact that I think I'm a hardcore entrepreneur that was born in a communist country and was born at the right time that allowed during depths of the Cold War to get out of the Soviet Union and come to the U.S. I'm driven by paying back, having two tremendous parents, though very, very different, giving me a pretty well-rounded opportunity to be successful, both by instilling tremendous self-esteem, my mom, and by instilling, truth and honesty and work ethic, my dad. And so I'm driven by the fact that I very much am self-aware to know that I have a lot of talents and things that I was gifted with, and I want to deliver against that luck.
And when you meet somebody at a party they've never heard of Gary Vaynerchuk and they say, "Hey man, what do you do?" What do you say?
Dominate.
You guys are fast friends.
It's funny. I will say that sometimes it's interesting to use that as a proxy to figure out what the other person's about, right?
Yeah.
Some people like it, some people hate that. I tell them, I wish my wife Lizzie was here. She laughs every time this comes up because obviously I do a lot of things. I'm very entrepreneurial that way. I tell them that I'm a businessman or an entrepreneur or whatever really comes, whatever I'm in the mood for. Sometimes I tell them I'm a diehard Jets fan. Like whatever's the moment. But at the end of the day, I'm always very interested and thrilled to talk about myself. So as much room as they give me to talk, I'll fill them in on the whole goddamn narrative if they allow me to.
So what do you tell people who know you well, right? When they're asking you what you're working on, what are things that, for people who follow you a lot, right? What's your day-to-day look like? What are you working on now? What do you focus most of your time on?
I mean, I would say that I'm primarily the CEO of VaynerMedia. The company's gone from 30 to 550 people in the last 4 years. That's a lot of stuff.
You said CEO, not COO, right?
CEO.
Yeah.
I would say that more and more I'm raising a very large round for my next fund. So I think I'm going to be spending more and more time on the investor front.
How much is a large round?
Definitely, north of 150 million. So I'll be getting more into A and B round dynamics than just angel investing. I'm spending a lot of time, as a lot of you know, lately on my personal brand. The Ask Gary Vee show has really reconnected me with my audience at a level that over the last 2 years has been a little bit more stagnant because I've been so head down as the CEO of the company and operating. And so once I felt fulfilled, it's funny, for a lot of you that do know me, that era of 2009 to 11 where I kind of emerged as a figure in the Web 2.0 movement, I didn't want to be categorized as, the narrative first was, hey, there's this young kid who built his family business and that's worth paying attention to. And then kind of my personality and my speaking and my content took over the narrative. And for myself, selfishly, I wanted to remind myself that I was a businessman. And so running Vayner and growing it and now having my second rodeo of big business building feels fulfilling. And I think as soon as I kind of felt fulfilled that I was well on my way to doing that, I kind of went back into engaging at a higher level. But I figured out something that was more scalable, which is how the show got created.
Actually, I meant to have you introduce us as the NJ Tech Meetup show. Can you give us an official welcome?
No,
you won't do it?
I don't force it. It has to come naturally.
We'll get there. So a few interesting things in there. One is you said that you emerged as this Web 2.0 personality, but was it by mistake?
Well, I mean, was it by mistake?
Were you sitting at home thinking, what, I could capitalize on this, I could build a brand, and I see the future of my brand and how it's going to affect my businesses? Or was it, holy shit, I got 50,000 views today on something? What happened?
It was that I thought YouTube was going to be a very big deal. And I went all in on it in 2006 when, most of the world didn't know about it. And then I started realizing there was this tech community. Like even though I had an e-com site since 96, I was in Jersey. I wasn't really thinking about what was going on in Silicon Valley. And so I could tell that this was a very different internet emerging from what I grew up with in the late 90s. And I thought it was going to be a pretty big deal. And I kind of was at a place in my career at 30 years old, recognizing, man, a lot of things that I think are gonna happen. And it's cool that I can build a much bigger wine business because of this, but maybe there's a bigger, better, and quicker path to owning the Jets. And this angel investing thing is interesting. And I just started having a really interesting time with myself a decade ago of like, hey, there's something else here that I might be able to use in a different way than just selling a couple more cases of Pinot Noir, and that became the process. And then Twitter came out, I jumped on it, I invested in it, I used it. The leaderboard came out, people cared about it. I was in the top 50 people that were followed. Everybody else was a tech TV personality. Leo Laporte, iJustine, Kevin Rose. It was very tech. It wasn't mainstream. And then there was this wine person on it. So a lot of people gravitated towards me being crossover. I was in Jersey. I was doing a wine show on YouTube. I was different. And then I was just intrigued by this tech thing that this was clearly going to evolve. It would be a bigger part of our world. And so I just went all in.
So you mentioned something there about wanting to be a businessman. And so do you feel like starting a digital focused company, maybe you think of Wine Library TV as, or Wine Library as this kind of business, but do you feel like VaynerMedia has validated what you were really after, or were you just as proud of what you accomplished with Wine Library?
I'm equally as proud. I just needed to remind myself that I was a businessman and not a talking head.
Were you having doubts there? Because the business went well. It seems, so it seems.
I wasn't having doubts. I just didn't like the narrative that was being painted, and I needed it for as much of outwardly, optically for the market. I don't want to be compared to people that I feel don't build businesses. I'm flabbergasted by people buying people's business books of people that have never built a fucking business. And I wanted to remind the market, myself, the game, that I was a business builder. I wanted to go into Madison Avenue world where everybody's like, oh, Twitter boy's coming, and I wanted to show them what I have showed them, which is I'm a much better fucking businessman than you, and I'm gonna build the biggest, best agency of all time in your fucking mouth.
Tell us how you really feel.
I'm very driven by the climb, right? I think being an immigrant, I guess, or just having this DNA, I don't like winning. I like losing. Being a Jets fan's good for me. Like my quarterback getting punched in the mouth and bringing his gun, that feels good to me. I like the struggle. And so I always think that a true entrepreneur loves the process more than the riches. I don't give a shit about the stuff that comes along. I want it. It's nice. It's nice to have money. It's great. But the game is my drug. Like, there will never be a game over for me. There's no dollar amount. The game, the process, the climb, that is the drug that drives me. That is my oxygen. Competing is my oxygen. And business, unlike being an athlete, is the whole time. I've become friendly with a lot of athletes in the last half decade, especially. And at 32, 33, 35, 38, you're like finished. You're like reinventing yourself, like everything you've ever known. I turned 40 in November, and I feel like I'm just now getting into, okay, these next 20 years, that's the prime of being a business. So that's what I love. And so I needed another challenge. I had won in the wine business. I had established a personal brand of sorts, but I needed to go into a new game where I was starting from a zero place. And I believe that will be the narrative. I truly believe that will be my long-term narrative, that I will go into 2 to 3 more spaces in my career, maybe 4, where even though I will have more wealth and more things, it will be disproportionately stacked against me, because climbing and proving people, listen, I love the I told you so. I do, and I know that that's not noble. I recognize that that's not like a thing people like to say. I just don't want to lie to you. I love it. Nothing makes me happier than to stick it to you.
I've never said that.
I just like it. So,
well, hold on a second, because you talk about how many people here like to say I told you so? Lots.
It's good, right?
It's not the worst. Lots. It's not.
I love it.
But you talk about not starting a business where you don't have unique, differentiated value. But you just said now you like to go in with 0 game. So where's the balance there? Like, what's really the
I think, and that's a good call out, because I do think in general, especially for the people that most know me, I very much think that my the things that are going on with me have a lot to do with the fact that I believe I'm a contradiction and I'm a paradox, and like I'm pulling from very opposite directions, right? Like I truly, like to my core, don't give a shit what anybody in this room thinks about me, while I equally care very much what you all think about me. And it's a very strange kind of push and pull, right? I went into the agency world where I didn't have any advantages and yet I went in there with all the advantages because I was disproportionately knowledgeable on social, which I knew was going to become the advertising industry. So, you know, pulling from opposite directions a little bit.
Who's the last guy who said that you bothered them, that really bothered you?
Who's the last
The person that was like, I don't like your stuff, man.
Well, people, I mean, there's people that say they don't like me every day.
Yeah, but you're saying, you know, in the paradox, right? You want to be liked, but you don't give a shit. But who's somebody who's bothered you when you said, man, I really wish that, you know, maybe a celebrity or something.
Oh, everybody. Like, no.
Nobody likes you?
Like random, like Joey McGee 49 leaving a 1-star review on Amazon on Jab Right Hook. I'm devastated. Like, to me it's not, yeah, no, to me it's everybody, right? They're all equal. Like, from LeBron to LaShawn, like, it doesn't matter to me. It's just a human that I have not communicated in a way that has been consumable or interesting to them, and I'm fascinated by that, and I think about those things.
So on the fund, you said you're raising maybe $150 million fund or more.
Yeah.
You know, 25 is a good start, but that takes a lot of focus. So
Yes.
How much of your time do you spend investing versus...
Now,
Yeah.
in the last fund, well, you know, Phil Toronto, who kind of was my assistant and grew up with me and is very much my investing right-hand man, has scaled that. AJ was involved, he's helped scale that. So I'm an intuitive investor anyway, so I don't need a whole lot of data. The new one I will, and I've brought in senior partners and infrastructure from very large funds, and so there'll be more rigor and clearly there'll be things that I have to give up. I'm speaking a lot less. You know, I'm chopping off things, spec meetings, you know, I'm trying to chop out time because I'm going to need a lot more time to deploy against the fund behavior, which is going to have a standard 3-hour meeting each week, which is crazy in my world. So, you know, I'm definitely heading towards a direction where it's going to be taking more of my time.
I think there's a lot of people here and many watching who think if Vayner RC or you as an angel invest in their company, they're hanging out with you and you're like spending hours with them a week. Tell people what the reality is of when they get if they get a check from you, what that looks like.
Well, this is interesting. My prior behavior was all bat phone. Like, there was no hanging out unless you needed me, and highest use of time, right? Like just now, Button, a great startup that we're involved in, I literally, while I was sitting here and getting ready, they're trying to close an engineer, and so I emailed the engineer and said it would really matter to us if you join the team, and he just replied to me, he's like, holy fuck, Gary Vee, yeah, I'll join. That's good. So there's times when I can do that, but what I want to do with this next fund, so $25 million Vayner RC, 93 investments. Next fund, $150 to $250 million, 10 to 20 investments. So what I want to do is go all in and go in a Series A or Series B, use VaynerMedia, use myself to disproportionately affect the outcome. And so the behavior of an investment for me is going to change quite a bit. It's less early stage, clearly, but it's going to allow me to actually impact the result more than I've been able to in the past.
So will there be a seed stage fund maintained, or you're thinking
It's something I'm still debating, and the last 2 weeks of August, or the last week of August, first week of September, I'm going to go away and spend time with the family, and clearly in the downtime, I think that's probably the biggest thing I'm figuring out.
If I get a vote, we need you in the seed space.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, I think, I can't leave the seed space. It's a place that I'm strong in. It's how do I do it? What do I do it? Do I team up with people? Do I do it personal, carved out? I don't know. I'm not going to go away. I'm not going to not meet with people who've got seed investment opportunities. I just need to figure out what's right for me and what's right for them.
So one of the things that I was an EIR at DFJ Gotham, a venture capital firm in the city, and I learned a lot about the venture space there. One of them was I prefer operating companies than investing in them. So I'm curious if you've had any aha moments in running the fund that have changed your perspective on, you haven't raised capital for your businesses, and so I'm curious what you think of it as being on that side of the table.
I think it speaks to what my next behavior is going to be. I want to be more involved. Just betting on horses and jockeys is interesting. I've made a shitload of money doing it, but it's not as interesting as having a disproportionate impact on the outcome. there's nothing bigger than running your own shit. But if I'm going to write somebody a $15 million check, I'm going to be in there. And so I want to help. And, now I have an engine, right? VaynerMedia is a true engine. It disproportionately is helping the things I'm involved with. It's nice to get paid, $150,000 a month in fee. It's a hell of a lot better to make a $15 million investment go 6x.
So, you caught me off guard there. I don't know, I lost it. But when you and I met at a conference where I saw you speak at a corporate event.
Chicago?
In Chicago.
Be careful.
Well done. I often wear bright pants. Tonight I kind of toned it down, but I make sure that when I'm near Gary, I stand out. I had the big bright blues on that day. So, I noticed, if that's a corporate crowd, you talk a lot about speaking to your audience, being where your audience lives. And you were in front of the audience, it was awesome, but you're dropping lots of F-bombs. And I'm very curious, I feel like this is a very deliberate strategy of yours. So one is, why do you choose to do that in a space where you know that the corporate cultures tend to disagree with it? And two is, why is it censored on the Ask Gary Vee show? Am I catching that right?
Two things. So one, it's actually stunningly not deliberate. I'm actually not capable of controlling my DNA. I really, listen, here's a good example. I probably am leaving more than 7 figures a year on the table because I curse in public.
Oh, wow.
That's real money. That's bank, right? Like real money. I'm just not capable. Like the more they're, like this size, like it gets me going, and I get very jerseyed out, and I grew up very into, Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor, and I get a little bit of that flavor
You were
going.
right around the Rascals Club, weren't you?
What's that?
Rascals.
Yeah. So I just get excited on stage. I curse. I can't help it. I'd rather not curse in a corporate environment because I know that there's other people in the audience that would then book me if I didn't. Now the Ask Gary Vee show censoring on YouTube, I don't think it's censored. The reason it's censored on Facebook is because we're running ads against it, and if you can't run ads if the cursing is going on, and so that's the only reason.
Do you watch them back?
No.
No. So you've never seen it. Do you feel like it's
D-Rock's laughing. I can't watch shit. I can't watch myself.
What happens when you watch it? Are you bothered by it? Like, do you feel like, oh man, I should have said this, or I
Lately,
look like an idiot, or what?
You really trimmed down. You look good. No, I just don't watch. I don't have time. Time to watch something I know what I fucking said? If I remember that I fucking met you in Chicago, I know what the fuck I said an hour ago.
I'll give you that. My real question there, so let's take that watching it back. How critical are you of yourself?
Not at all.
Yeah. So what's the last thing you fucked up that you should have done differently?
I have no idea.
You haven't thought back about something that went wrong?
Nope.
All right, next question. There's a lot of...
I'll expand because that was funny, but I'll expand, probably, oh my God, I couldn't even begin to think about... First of all the things that I've done wrong have a lot to do with the things that I didn't do, right? I'm happy. I promise you, you can only be tied with me right this second in happiness in life. You can only be tied. So how in the world could I possibly look back, right? Whatever the mistakes I made, like not doing the vodka with Usher, that might have been a mistake, right? Not doing a TV show on Bravo, maybe a mistake, right? Passing twice on Uber's Angel Round, definitely a mistake. Not taking that flight to San Francisco to get into Pinterest at a $100 million valuation when I knew it was going to pop, and just making some dumb decision. I've made so many mistakes. But when my net score is at this moment, the way I feel in my stomach, which is pure and utter happiness and gratitude and feel awesome and everything's great, then I can't waste time worrying about what I didn't do, because what I've done has been more than fine.
So there's a lot of people in the audience. Hey, that's a good one. Who I think maybe won't admit it, but think that money will open up the doors of happiness. I can definitely relate to this.
Money's not bad, right? This is an interesting thing that I'm trying to figure out. The cliche thing to say is, no, look, there's been some really interesting studies about this $75,000 range. I actually believe it. It's stunning. I actually think the money argument is very similar to giving relationship advice. I do not give relationship advice. Because that's insane. every relationship has its own context, right? Like what works for me and Lizzie's not gonna work. Like it's just different. The way me and my dad roll, it's not like scalable for others. Like everybody does their own thing, right? Everybody does their own thing. Same thing with money. I know people that like, you know, made 100,000 like a year in their life, and that was it. They made it, and they love it, and like life is phenomenal. And then I know people that make $14 million a year that like I need more. Like when I get there, I'll get there. You know, like I think it's a very personal thing. It's predicated on how you're wired and what you value in life. The ultimate thing that I value is being able to do what I want to do at all times, which takes money in a certain way for sure. So that's me. Next is to play the game that I've played since I was 6, which is selling shit, right? After that, I'm good, right? And from a selfish standpoint, everything else is family-centric. So I think a lot of people here are stunningly happy by the market's point of view on this with a relative low or relative high money amount. It's just personal.
So, and tell people who don't know about it a little about your baseball card background. And,
Yeah,
and what that's, and maybe, you know, what you've learned from that you apply today.
Yeah, I mean, I was 12, and I was making $3,000 a weekend selling baseball cards at the malls of New Jersey, and my teachers told me I was a loser because I was getting D's and F's, and I was making more money than them on 6 weekends, and so I couldn't believe them, and it made me realize I was doing something different than what the market had accepted, and it's been the narrative of my whole life. I've been marketing and playing and doing differently than what the current market feels is right of the moment, and then it shows up and hangs out with me. That is my narrative.
Back to the happiness piece. What defines happiness for you?
First and foremost, with no fucking close second, is the continuous health and well-being of the 12 or 13 people that matter most to me in my life. To me, I am crippled and I'm scared shitless and I think about it multiple times a week. Multiple times a week, I will be in the moment of whatever I'm doing, and I will stop, and I will think, whoa, I could literally get a phone call right now and somebody could tell me that somebody I love is dead or really sick. Like, whoa, like, this is a weird thing, and I'm kind of breaking it down for you. This is, like, I don't know how you guys roll, but this is real. Multiple times. I'm talking 5 to 15 times a week. I will be in my life, and I will stop. It's almost like I'm preparing myself for it, right? I will recognize that everything all this happiness that I just spewed on you is gone in a... I'm actually very curious if my going away is predicated on my first real substantial struggle with a health situation or something really bad. I mean, I will check the fuck out. There will be no, like, using social media to console me. I will go into a cocoon. I know myself. And that's just where... So, you know, that's it. Like that to me, like the continued, like this minute that hasn't happened yet, I'm good. You know, that I'm pumped. Like, and so and really everything else is kind of gonna be fine.
Have you noticed that as you've aged, that's been more on your mind?
No, actually I've gotten better. Imagine how weird I was. Like when I was 12, I used to have this nightmare that my family decided to go back to Russia for a family reunion, and the plane crashed in Siberia, and for some fucking reason I always survived with random different family members in the reoccurring dream. I mean, I once prayed on my porch for 2 hours because I thought my mom died in a car accident because I was watching my brother and sister. She went to the mall. She should have been back 3 hours earlier, but there was this huge car accident. This was pre-cell phones, so it took her 3 hours to get home. And literally on the porch of my house, I prayed to God that my mom was alive. So I'm a little bit fucked up like that.
I promise you're not alone here.
Yeah, I'm big on that. Like I really wish people had real perspective. My dad doesn't have it that great, to be honest, and sometimes I tell him that I wish, like, one time at the height of an argument around perspective, I said, you know what, Dad, I wish I fucking died so you would really understand what to be upset about. You know, like I get really upset when people...
Is he in the inner 12 circle?
Yeah, of course, the most, at the top. But I really struggle with people that complain. I really do. I really struggle with complaining. Like many of you, like, based on how well it's doing. This Monday morning video I made a couple months ago where like I talk about like how lucky you are to be a human being. I really believe that shit. I really believe that if you got practical for a minute and wrapped your head around that you actually were able to become a human being, that is the most insane fucking thing of all time. It's so crazy. We are the ultimate species. It's us, right? And then you live in America. Fuck you to complain about anything. Like, you know, you could have been like a ladybug in Brazil. That sucks. You know, so like.
Wait, am I a ladybug?
I'm very thankful and pumped and like just don't understand what people complain about. And honestly, right now it's real bad. Because right now, the reason it's really bad because things are really good. Like, I don't think people recognize how good it really, really is right now. And so like, you know, eventually there'll be, whether it's a terrorist attack or Wall Street will fuck up again or whatever will happen, like, you know, I recognize that there's, you know, in tech it's good, in certain practical parts, middle America, different things, it's not as good, but like, it's good. It's fucking good. And so complaining while it's good really sucks because there's so much worse out there.
I mean, I really hate this term, but
I really don't understand what it takes to be the end.
what do you think it takes?
A really heavy dosage of fear and self-confidence pulling in opposite directions. And both. And I think a lot of people here have one or the other. And so I just don't, you know, when it's on you. You know, so right now we have a lot of entrepreneurs who are raising money and losing seems like a learning experience. They're not valuing losing somebody else's money. I think that's dangerous. And so I'm definitely romantic about this. I'm a purebred entrepreneur. I'm watching a lot of students, a lot of operators, a lot of great number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8s thinking they're the number one. And the number one, like the amount of people who have startups right now who don't work 15 and 18 hours a day makes me laugh. The amount of startups, friends, that I have that are down the Jersey Shore or at the Hamptons makes me laugh. They're soft. I feel they're really soft.
Are you seeing, what do you think about, you know, people who come to you with shitty ideas, but they're great at execution? Like, how do you feel about person versus idea?
I'm jockey over horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm person over idea. On the flip side, I'm watching a lot of youngsters who are hustling and working 18 hours a day. They're stupid. And I'm making that as a joke, slang term for like their product stinks. They've got no shot. They haven't thought it through. They haven't been through a couple of rodeos, but they've got a lot of other pieces. And I think that through mature, look, it scares me how much better I am today than I was 15 years ago when I thought I was the best, right? Like it scares me how valuable experience really is. It scares me. It's a real thing because it makes me mad at who I was 15 years ago. So yeah, I just think we're at a very interesting, it's very attractive to be a businessman or woman, entrepreneur, founder right now. And honestly, what I don't like is it's very easy. You just say you are. And that's not real.
So you talk a lot about ego, arrogance, confidence, and I actually have the definition here for you, because on your show you were trying to figure it out with India.
I failed school for a reason, so I don't know the true definition.
Well, fortunately there's this thing called the internet. So,
heard about it.
Arrogance. An attitude of superiority manifested in an overbearing manner or in presumptuous claims or assumptions.
I'm arrogant.
Confidence. A feeling or belief that you can do something well or succeed at something.
100%.
Do you think there's anything wrong with being, you said, and I think I quote, "I believe I'm one of the greats."
Yes.
Which I respect, I get that. I think
It
that
sounds funnier
qualifies.
when you say it.
I'm pretty sure that qualifies as an arrogant quality.
So here's what I think about that. I think that it's equally going to be fun for me to watch this exact video 40 years from now and say that I was wrong. And I know that I will say that I was wrong if I don't pull it off. And I think that's what balances me off.
So as part of your arrogance, your own little trick to keep you motivated, that you say these things thinking I better live up to this shit?
Maybe, yeah. I think I tricked yes. I do think that I decided in 6th grade that I was going to buy the New York Jets as something to aspire towards in a world that I want to keep climbing. It felt big. It felt like, ooh, that's a long game. That's a long climb. And so, yeah, I think I would say there's some definite truth to that.
It seems like if that's your real end goal game, why bother with VaynerMedia? Why not? It seems like you've got the brand, you've got the connections, you could raise the capital, you could buy the jets, you could stop punches in quarterbacks' faces. Why didn't you go right there?
Because I think that I'm pretty self-aware for all my other characteristics, and I think that the way that I buy the New York Jets is by using VaynerMedia, the machine, to disproportionately create outcomes for me in the future, because I've created a scalable family and infrastructure to my one natural skill, which is disproportionate marketing capabilities.
I skipped the question that would have been relevant a minute ago, but I want to hit it on the...
Let me explain what that means.
Go ahead. Hey, Gary, what does that mean?
In a couple of years, I will buy a brand or a company for $200 million, and then I will use the machine to sell it for $1.9 billion. It's scale. It's scale.
So Zirtual laid off its employees very abruptly the other day. You familiar with that?
I saw the headlines.
Yeah, so basically...
Female CEO.
Correct.
I saw.
It raised, I forget the amount, 5 to 10 million.
She put a post out today of what happened?
She did.
Couldn't read it, so go ahead.
So I'll tell you my understanding of the situation. They had a very high burn rate,
Yep.
couldn't raise enough capital, had 400 full-time employees.
Yep.
And very, very abruptly, in a company where they preached transparency,
Right.
Monday morning people get in, we're out of business.
Yep. Fake entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's my question. What do you think about that? What do you think the right way to handle a situation like that is?
Not bad. I mean, I don't want to speak to it because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but that sounds bad.
Do you think, okay, so, well, let's talk about the real issue here. You know that your cash burn, you're always running out of money. And
Sounds like not an equal balance of complete confidence and complete fear. Seems like confidence took over.
And so I know you have a big appreciation for people who are upfront, but you must use respect. So what do you think would have been an appropriate time to give our employees a heads up that
It
you may not
sounds
have a
like
job?
the CEO didn't know how to manage their business. It sounds like it should have happened 6 months earlier, where she or the rest of her team, or maybe the CFO, I don't know the details.
Sure.
So though if she's the CEO, it's her fault. Like, that's what I mean by being a number one. So it's her fault, and it sounds like she didn't know how to manage the burn, and it sounds like she should have done cuts 6 months ago. And maybe, here's the thing. I am confident because I know I can get really unfancy real quick. And you have to understand what that means. The reason that company went out of business, if it sounds like the way it went out, is maybe she didn't want to go to a co-working space instead of the office they had. Maybe she, didn't want to, believe it. Maybe she wanted to continue to fly, more comfortably than 2 connecting flights. Like, these are the things I believe. Like, you control your burn. I'm very proud that VaynerMedia and Wine Library are completely self-funded, no cash infusions to the business. Steve Ross bought a piece of VaynerMedia, but that went directly into mine and AJ's pockets, not a penny into the business. The business runs on its own cash flow. And I was very excited about AJ graduating and building a business that had a P&L instead of raising $10 million. Raising money is a really bad way to learn on how to build a business. It's really bad. It's not real.
When do you think people should raise money?
Well, look, I think on the flip side, raising money is great. I just know that a lot of people aren't good enough to handle it. I do think that raising money is smarter when you have leverage. So after you've scrapped it and you made it happen, you have leverage, money will come to you on your terms versus you going out and getting it. And so I just believe in leverage. One of the biggest reasons I like to pay forward, put out content, engage, do this tonight is I want the leverage of providing value first. I always say whoever asks first is losing. And so I love providing value that way. And so it sounds like a story of clear mismanagement. What did she say in her blog post?
That she felt really badly. She's been very upset that the reality was they thought maybe they had somebody coming in last minute. It didn't happen.
Got it. It's tough. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah. So there's probably a lot of people in the audience who have a very small social following, and they see your success with social, and they're wondering how they attack social. Like Ramon's wife has 100 followers on Instagram, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing.
What does she do to get to 1,000, to get to 5,000, to get to 10,000? How does she earn each
Well, she
one?
keeps taking her shoes off. She'll get more followers. I don't think she has to put her toes, girl. Well, there's something that I think people don't understand about this game, which is talent matters. Like, saying stuff that's interesting or creating content that's valuable, whether in entertainment form or information form or utility form, is not something everybody just is naturally born with. You don't just because you get on Instagram or Periscope or Meerkat or Twitter or Facebook, just because you get on it doesn't entitle you to anything. And so I think the best way to build a following is to provide value, whatever that may be. And value can be defined in a lot of ways. For me, I have business things to say. I have experience and, disproportionate leverage and understanding of what's happening in the marketplace because I'm living it. So I have something to say. It brings people value. Nice young lady just came up to me and said, I gave some advice at Columbia. Are you still here? Thank you. Like, she was at Columbia, I remember that. D-Rock, is that where you, when I first met you too? And who else was there that day? Alex DeSimone? It was a very special thing I did. That night was really special. I've heard 10 good stories from Columbia. Small group, 40, 50 people. She came up to me, she goes, you gave me some advice at that event. I used it. It's been good for my life. When you can do that, people will continue to come and listen to what you say. So I think the best way to build a following is to provide value. And there's a lot of ways to provide value. Maybe you can't come up with original content like I do. Maybe you need to be in the DJing business. Maybe you have a good eye of what is good content and you're repurposing it and passing it on. That's very valuable. Curation is outrageously valuable. I see a lot of people who are naturally good at curation, trying to be original, right? A lot of DJs trying to be songwriters, a lot of songwriters trying to be DJs, right? I think you need to find what you're good at. But please understand, you're not entitled to a single fucking follower. And if you have 100 people following you on Instagram, that's insane. 100 people want to know what you're putting out to the world. That's unbelievable. So I hate when people are crying like I have a small following. I'm like, you're not entitled to any following.
Do you use tools?
No. I don't.
Just when you're feeling it, you put it out. You don't test times, you don't A/B test stuff, you just...
No. And we've started, now that I have a team with the show and everything, there's some better thinking, but it's still pretty fucking organic.
What's the machine? You produce, first of all, how many Ask Gary Vee shows do you produce at a time? Is it one and done, or are you 10 at a time? One and done.
D-Rock, we've never taped 2 in one day. I even get mad when D-Rock wants to put it up the next morning. I think contextual matters. I think the day it happened, it goes out, is hugely important. I'm scared that I say something and that the next day, look what happened with my Facebook. I think Facebook's going to be a competitor to Meerkat and Periscope, and it came out like a day later. Like if we were holding on to that would have been weird. So, no, I don't change shirts.
So tell me what that promotional machine looks like, because you hit everything. So you record the
I'm
video.
in complete control of my Instagram and Facebook. The team schedules I'm in control, of my Twitter and Instagram. The team schedules the posts for Facebook. But India's here, who does a lot of my copy. I'm texting with her titles. I'm very scared for it. I want India to work with me forever, especially India, because I love her so much. But if India was...
Hey, we talked about rounds of applause. We gotta hit it up for her.
I've always been very self-aware of back to authenticity, that if I was faking this, me doing shit, and that if India and I had a spat and she no longer worked, she would have enormous ammo to say, this guy's full of shit. I'm scared of that.
Wait, are you full of shit all of a sudden?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the reason I do all my stuff is because I don't want that. You know how pumped people get when a celebrity replies to them? Do you know how devastated they get when they find out it was the assistant? I don't want to lose that. But that's why I love all the live streaming. And when Twitter video came out, as a lot of you know, I started replying in that. It was a good way for me to prove, I do my shit. So Instagram and Twitter's all me. My Facebook fan page, we use a little bit more like publishing, but obviously when I'm replying in it, it's always me. So that's what's going on.
So you've mentioned a lot about...
India interviews me, our Medium post, our longer form stuff is transcribed from answers from the show, and then if it needs to get filled out, she'll interview me, and that becomes the post.
I'm sure a lot of people say to you things like, where the hell do you find the time for all this?
I find the time because I find incredibly passionate D-Rock, Emily, Zach, Design. Where's Zach? Zach right there, who designs all the fucking beautiful shit you see, who's like fast as fuck, not like a normal bullshit designer. You know, like I find people that are passionate, and I find people that are like, Indy and I are very different. Emily and I are very similar, right? We're both really good cheerleaders and rah-rah and pumped. D-Rock and I have a ton of similarities, but like, I build teams. I build teams.
So if you're, okay, so this is an important point, right? If you're just starting out, you're one person, you're two people, maybe you're three, and you know how valuable content is, but you're trying to fundraise, you're trying to build a product, you're trying to market your product.
I was running a 100-person, $60 million business. I had no fucking D-Rock. I had no team from 2006 to 2014, and I did all my fucking content.
But you did have a team that was like...
So, stop watching fucking entire seasons of fucking, House of Cards. Here's my thing on this, and a lot of you have heard this. This is a good chance to clarify it. D-Rock, make sure you edit this part. Here's my thing on stop watching Lost or House of Cards, stop complaining, people. Here's my thing. If you're pumped with your life, and you're good, and you're not complaining, do you. Like, don't work at all. I don't give a fuck. This message is for the people like, oh, I don't have time. Like, woe is me. Like, why am I not as big as you? I don't have money. It's bad. Like, I didn't get a chance. If you're complaining, you better self-audit yourself. Because if you're complaining and I audit you, I promise you, I will find 4 fucking hours that you're not doing jack shit. You're sleeping. And by the way, I'm a fan of sleep. Sleep is important. So but you might be sleeping 8 hours, and 7's cool too. That's one, right? You're fucking, I don't know, like fucking playing mobile games? Fuck you. I've never played 1 second of a mobile game. Like, literally, like, really? Like, you've got time for Angry Birds and you're complaining? Get the fuck out of here. So my big thing is that I don't want to hear that you're one person just starting out and you don't have time for content. Your actions, my friends, are much, much, much louder than your words. Your actions are your game. When I'm 80 and I'm not one of the greats, I will look into a camera and be like, I was wrong. I had a good run, I did really nice, but I'm not one of the greats. I'm solid. I'm on that next tier, maybe 2 tiers down. And so that's the way it's going to be. It doesn't matter what I say, it's going to matter what happens. Frank, who's sitting right there, who did the Wine Library billboards that you might remember, that's the man right there. He got to see me, back in the day, and I don't remember. Hopefully he remembers a little bit better than I do, but like, I'm sure I had plenty of bravado and was talking a ton of shit back then too. And guess what? I've done a lot more since then. And if I keep that momentum, like, that's the game, right? Like, either you're right or you're wrong. Either you win or you lose. But if you're gonna come to me and tell me you don't have time, in a world where I work every fucking second for 18 hours a day, right? You're gonna have a tough time making me feel bad that it's not happening for you, because that's part of it. Like, I love people that are like, no, Gary, I'm gonna work smart. That's good. Like, I fully feel comfortable, I'm working fucking smart as shit every minute. Like, putting in the work matters. Like, it just does. Like, talent is massively important. But putting in the work matters. And it's fun for me to see Sugar Ray and people of this generation, like, those guys, stand up, you guys. I love you guys. You always come to my books. Let's clap it up for these guys.
We look forward to the day when you old.
Well, listen, you better fucking take care of your health, because I need some more time, and you're old.
I'm out of your family and calling me up from my wife to wish us a 50th wedding. All of Gary's New Jersey book signing.
Yeah, you have. I appreciate it, brother. If you think those guys from that generation want to hear your bullshit whining that you don't have time, go fuck yourself. But honestly, I'm real serious about this. Please go talk to you. If you're lucky enough, I'm not. I didn't grow up really with grandparents except for one, and now she's sick and it's tough. Like, go talk to your grandparents. And go ask them to introduce you to 4 or 5 of their friends. And go ask them how they rolled in life. Like, what was tough when there was war, and fucking depressions and real shit, and you're crying that you don't have 1,000 fucking Periscope followers? Get the fuck out of here. Seriously, it is, by the way, I am convinced by the complaining that's in the market, convinced that we are well on our way. I don't know where we are, but we lost. Like, just so you guys know, I want this on the record. I want to look back at this. America lost. We lost. It's like, and by the way, it's not because, like, I love America more than breathing. It's because we're just too far along in having our run. And you can just see it. 9th place trophies? Is that where we're at? Like, that's how we're gonna roll? Like, we gotta be that politically correct with our kids that if you come in 9th fucking place, you won? Get the fuck out of here. This is why there's so many fake entrepreneurs. You know why that? And I don't know this gal, and it's unfair for me to use that proxy. I promise you, if I audit that gal, she was fake winning. Fake winning is really hurting us. So if you want to win, if you want to do your thing, if you have to understand the market, it doesn't care. It doesn't care if you went to Harvard. It doesn't care if you grew up in the fucking boogie down Bronx with a welfare mom. It's going to be the market, and you got to win in it. Period. And that's it. The market always rules, and way too many people here don't understand that. They celebrate when they raise money. We are in a culture right now where we celebrate people when they raise debt. It's broken, my friends. And shit's gonna hit the fan. And I'm gonna play this fucking video in 4 years when it does and say, now what? Now we're gonna see who's a wartime general. Right now we've got peacetime generals. Real easy to be a 26-year-old entrepreneur right now where you can just raise money because the fucking dentist wants to find his Zuckerberg. Real easy. Show me. Show me on the next bubble burst who's gonna make money during that. Show me.
So for you guys who've been coming here a long time, if that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what the hell will. I have a long list of a lot more questions that I would love to get into, but I promised Gary we would let him out of here for a very important meeting he's got.
But I'm going to be 5 minutes late because I'm feeling it right now.
You want to keep going? We can keep going.
Oh, I'm going to have for 5 too? Okay.
Aaron, can you ask him about 1 is greater than 0, please? 1 is greater than 0.
1 is greater than 0. That video was the rant that I just said now, right? Which was, if you watch that video, that D-Rock did an incredible job editing and telling the great, oh, Stefan, good job, D-Rock, way to not take credit. Something I need to learn. 1 is greater than 0 is basically the rant I just gave, right? Which is like, you have to be thankful for like, you know, it was talking about how I get a lot of it has to do with your pitch, right? Which is, it blows my, if not every single person in this room that has a startup doesn't hit you up, they don't understand 1 is greater than 0. I did every single interview, 14 views, 19 views, 23 views. I still do it. I'm way, quote unquote, bigger than a lot of people who say no to somebody's podcast because they've got nobody listening. And I'm still doing it because I'm winning twice. I'm bringing value to a human being that's going to use my name to build their thing, which is going to bring them value. That feels good. That's the right thing. And 2, there's 14 people that are going to watch. And of those 14, 7 might not know who I am. But we're in New Jersey tech event right now. We're in a New Jersey tech event. I grew up in Jersey. I am probably one of the more successful New Jersey-based tech entrepreneurs, period. How many people, by show of hands, had no idea who I was before tonight? Raise your hand. 1 is greater than 0. Gotta keep putting in the work every day. I've been on every fucking channel 47 times. And plenty of people just raise their hand. 1 is better than 0. Gotta keep putting in the work, putting in the work. That man right there, he wants to win. I'm watching from afar. He's not getting a lot of traction. He's getting frustrated, just like I got frustrated a year and a half into Wine Library TV. But you keep grinding. You're always one video away on Instagram that who knows sees, puts it like you're just one moment away every time. If, I don't know if he has the talent, if you've got it. That matters. I hope everybody understands. If you put in 18 hours a day, every day of your life, and you suck shit, you lost. That matters too. And so you also have to think about what are you good at. Just because it's cool to be a startup founder now doesn't mean that's what you need to become. I built a very unsexy business, to your point, in the height of where I was and the game. because I was self-aware that that was going to be an engine for me over 10, 20, 30 years, when it could have been a lot sexier to raise $50 million and play with the 14 ideas I have, but I know who I am.
And you've talked about this before. How do people figure out their greatest strength, and what do they let go?
You know, look at you, my man, keep standing. You know, I did a good, India helped me with this. We put out a really good post about this. I'm a big fan of the following. One thing I think I do well and at VaynerMedia is I make everybody feel safe. And so that's really important to me, because when you make people feel safe, they start telling you the truth, right? So if you are able to go home right now, if you're struggling to figure out what you're good at, if you're able to take the 10 to 20 people that are closest to you, siblings, wives, husbands, partners, friends, the 10 to 20 people you consider the closest to you in the world, and if you were able to talk to them and make them feel safe before you ask them the following question, if you made them emphatically for 20 minutes and said, look, this is the most important question I will ever ask you in my life. You need to tell me the truth. My intuition is you're not going to want to tell me the truth, but you have to understand I'm okay with it. I'm in the right mind space for this. I need the truth. And then you ask them, what do they think you're good at and bad at? It's an amazing, and obviously I put out that post, it really resonated. I'm getting crazy emails of people like having amazing things happen to them. I think if you do not have self-awareness, which is what I do think I have, and I think a lot of people don't have it, the only way you can gain it is by getting other people to give you the data points. But most people won't tell you the truth. So it's on you to create an environment, a very safe environment, for somebody to tell you the truth of what they truly think you're good and bad at, and then gather that data. A lot of people don't want to recognize what they're good at, or don't want to accept that they're bad at something. It's like that whole American Idol singing thing, right? Like, some of those people really believe they're great at singing, and they suck shit, right? Like, they really believe it. And so, I don't think people are honest with themselves. There's a lot of things I wish I was. But I just don't lie to myself. And I think lying to yourself has held back the far majority of this room from bigger upside.
Yeah.
So, as you may have heard, a big part of the culture of this group is trying to give back. So what's something that everybody could do tonight or tomorrow morning to help you out?
That's a really interesting question. The truth is, that's a really uncomfortable question for me. You know, for somebody who is more than comfortable throwing right hooks and going in for the ask, I don't know, that doesn't feel, I really, you know, back to the leverage of giving first, there's plenty of people here that I've given to, so they can give back, because I feel like I've established that leverage. But to somebody who doesn't even know who I am, you know, I can't ask for something.
What about a hug?
I'll take a hug, get up here. Get up here. I'll take a hug. I met that man.
Yeah, what's your question in your back while she makes her way up here?
I'm all about hugs.
Instead of the NJ Take Me to podcast. Big round of applause here, come on. This is her second event. Is that the one right there in the middle? Yeah, oh, standing, yeah. Stand up, speak up just a bit.
Sure. Thank you so much for keeping it real first and being very sincere. So my question is, like, you speak about awareness and developing it, but what makes you different is that you have an elite level of awareness. So my question is, how do you get your level of awareness from a average or good to elite level? That's my question.
I don't know. I swear to God, I don't. My God, if I knew how to teach self-awareness, I'd probably quit right now and do it, because that's how I buy the fucking jets, right? Like, and I'm sure a lot of people can raise their hand and give their rationale to how you do it. It's pretty intense. Like, if you really settle into really thinking about this, and like, I think to the 50 people that I know the best, and I think about the 4 or 5 that I've desperately, through my entire life, have tried to help somebody who I appreciate. I do think I'm outrageously self-aware. It's probably my superpower, right? Like, I don't know how to instill it other than creating safety and honesty, communication. I just keep pounding at these core things. I really, really, really believe the thing that's holding people back is the romantic version of who they think they want to be or who they think they are versus who they actually are. I mean, it is a big deal. I really, truly, back to an earlier point you made, I really, really, really love myself a lot. I really do. But I'm also, because I love my shortcomings. Like, they're just me. Like, no, everybody's got them. You've all got shortcomings, and we've all got strengths. It's just, there is no perfect, right? I mean, that's why I'm so enjoying all of these Tom Brady email leaks. His perfect is going away really fast while he's complaining about his, pool covers. So, I think that there is no perfect. And so, I don't know, to be honest with you, but I do know that it starts with you being open to going there, right? I know that that's right. I know that I'm completely, you can't just say it. The only people in here that with in an intense way because I was giving negative feedback. It's so uncomfortable for me. I'm bad at it. And what did that mean in my 20s at Wine Library? It meant that I was full of shit. It means I couldn't tell you to your face you sucked, and I figured out ways to get you out. Right? That was something I had, like, in an authentic world, I had to realize, holy fuck, I'm full of shit. Because I'm not good at negativity, and I can't give you real feedback. And I've learned, and I'm a much better operator at VaynerMedia in giving that feedback. I'm not even close. Emily is a good example. Like, I've been able to give her real feedback along the way, something I would have never been able to do. And so you've got to open up yourself to looking things that everybody in here right now, in a second, can think of something that they're not good at, that isn't noble, that they're a bad person in a second, that they know they haven't addressed yet with themselves. That's intriguing. That's the beginning of the process. It's interesting shit.
Thank you.
You got it, my man.
I don't think we have time for this, but it's up to you, man.
I'll keep going a little bit.
All right. I'll let you pick up.
Can you find out how fast the Google, the Waze ETA is? D-Rock or India? Can somebody help me, not get crazy? What's that? I have to go? All right, one more, India.
You pick it.
Don't tell me what to do, India.
Why are you being so negative?
Do you want me to hang for 5 minutes? Was that?
If you can, but if you can't, you
Can we just do a line of high fives?
We'll definitely do a line of high fives. You guys gotta let him out of here when it's time.
I'm gonna do one question because there's no way I'm gonna be able to get out of here without it. I know a lot of people want to take a quick selfie and a high five. I'll make this promise to this group. I will do something in early 2016 just for this group that you'll manage, where I'll try to do some sort of thing for an hour where I can high five and hey, whatever I'm missing right now, I'll make. But I have to run the fuck out of here.
We could make the picture happen with everybody.
All right, good.
Ready?
There it is.
All right. Let's take the one question. What do you got?
Okay. Google just announced they created a holding company
Alphabet.
called Alphabet.
Right.
Okay. All the journalists were surprised,
Surprised. Yes.
and I was not.
Because
of all the stuff you've been saying over all this time. They basically stole their idea right from you, just like Eric Schmidt 10, 20 years ago took Android, took Google, went to Steve Jobs, took the best idea Steve Jobs had and brought it to Google.
I'm very flattered. First of all, I'm not completely sure what you're referencing, but I trust me, my ego's big enough that if you think that they're stealing stuff from me, I'm very flattered. Here's what I can tell you. Here's how I interpret it. I just don't think they want to run the search business anymore, the original founders, and this gave them a way to kind of focus on some of the other stuff, but I appreciate that, and I appreciate your support all the time. Listen.
A really fast follow-up. What do you think about non.com domains? Because they were abc.xyz.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by that space. I'm a big fan of the following. My last name is Vaynerchuk. I would not call that awesomely branded, right? I would also say I made a massive mistake when I signed on to Twitter by creating the username Gary V with 2 silent E's. I'm a very big believer that you make the name, that the name doesn't matter, right? Google and Facebook and Snapchat didn't mean shit to anybody in here until they made it mean something. And so I've never been a big, you need to own this name or this and that, because I think it's the execution that makes the name, not the name that makes the execution. So I will say this, I really appreciate all of you. I may jump on some live stream on the way home right now if I didn't get to answer your question, or I might answer some questions on Twitter. Jersey, I love you. I'll see you later.
Hold on. Wait 1 second. So the first thing is, 30 seconds. The first thing is, I know you have a high bar, and your greatness bar, you think it's got a long way to go, but I want to tell you on behalf of this group, on behalf of myself, we think you're one of the greats, so thank you very much.
Right.
The second thing, I didn't know was coming, is that I teamed up with the mayor, who I think had to leave, and you've earned the second Certificate of Mayoral Recognition in Excellence and Innovation. with that, you can go. All right, we're gonna let him. You guys gotta let him go. Hang out for 5 minutes. We're not done.